we have a banned book right here with me. Out of curiosity, are you familiar with this book at all? It's called Nick and Charlie. So, just to be clear, 'cause I don't want to go to context, you think
No.
that the banning of books is a form of segregation and racism?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
I mean, I know what the content matter of this is. If it was a boy and a girl, there would be nothing wrong with it.
With more context, why do you think it's banned?
You know, actually, yeah, I guess I kind of would. I guess I kind of would have an issue with it.
Right, yeah, even though you're right,
Hello, strangers. We are here today in Montclair, New Jersey, going around asking the locals just what they think about banned books. So, we have this banned book here in particular, Nick and Charlie. So, you be the judge as to why do you think it's banned? Why do you think it's banned? With more context, why do you think it's banned? So, with that being said, in this book, there is a lot of, controversy over it, with it being in middle schools. A lot of people will say that they don't want the book in schools because of the sexual themes. A lot of people say that you don't want it in books because of the queer themes. So, we're going to go around and ask everybody what they think for themselves. And if you're interested, let's go. Excuse me, guys. Hi. We're going around asking people about banned books today. Do you have a few minutes to talk about it? Are you familiar with this book at all?
I'm not familiar with it.
I'm
No.
not.
Oh, no, but
So, before we get to the book in general,
sure.
so what are your feelings on banning books for specifically middle school or younger? Do you think that there's a place for that? Do you think that no books should be banned? How do you guys feel?
No book should be banned.
I think it's
And-
up to the parents
Fair
to
enough.
read the book
I agree with
and
that.
make sure that it's appropriate for a child that age.
So we're here just asking the locals what they think about banned books in middle school and younger. What's your opinion on banned books? Do you think that some banned books are good? Do you think that no books should be banned? Where do you stand?
Well, honestly, when you hear people say ban books, those are the same people who like try to champion free speech. I do think it's like, wait a minute, you're for free speech or are you against it? But I've never encountered a book in a library that was like explicit for children. So I don't know what that's about. I feel like it's like a cultural thing where people want to win on and get other people upset.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's totally a difference between books that are acceptable for children to read and books that should not be allowed for children to read because of certain reasons.
Right.
And I think a lot of the problems with banned books is that the logic that goes into banning them is not due to the age of the children or the things that they should be exposed to, but rather a different type of personal bias.
Was
Bad
it?
to ban books.
Yeah.
It's bad to ban books. Do you think is that a blanket statement for like all books? When we're talking,
No, I would say just generally, I think you should be scared whenever anybody's telling you what you can and can't intake as far as books go.
Mhm.
But it would obviously depend on the book. But I'm sure you have a question for the show, right?
yeah, sure. But before we get to that, I just want like in general. So maybe we jumped right into the interview. But I'm just gonna add some context. We're talking about banned books for like middle school and younger. Do you think is there ever a time where it's appropriate to ban books in middle schools and younger, or should it just be open if the teacher wants to show it to show whatever they feel is right to kids that they teach?
I think we should ban books in general.
Fair enough. So I can't help but call out. So you said that it should never be banned, and then you said you agree with her. So how do you reconcile that?
I don't think banning a book should be accepted. I was too premature in saying what I said.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, that's
leave
we
it
never
in-
we want to give context for you.
Yes,
That's why.
but I agree that let the parents make that decision.
Right.
My question is, how come we survived with some of the books?
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what. With these books, I can't give you info on every single book that's been banned,
Mhm.
but I'm sure we all know of some of the famous ones: Fahrenheit 451, The Catcher in the Rye, for specific material that was in there. So this book has had a recent controversy over the past couple years. It's called Nick and Charlie.
Yeah, I would say banning books in general is no good.
All right. So I have a banned book here right now. So this is called Nick and Charlie. Feel free to look at it if you guys want to check it yourself. We have a banned book right here with me. Out of curiosity, are you familiar with this book at all? It's called Nick and Charlie.
No, but it looks progressive.
So we wanted to talk about this book today. We've already shown the camera earlier today. It's called Nick and Charlie. So just based on first impressions, what do you think about this book so far?
Well, I've read Heartstopper.
So you're familiar with the series?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're familiar with the series in general, why do you think that they banned this book in particular?
They probably don't want children being influenced by queer literature.
So what makes where does that sentiment come from? Do you think like there's an anti-queer systemically it's systemically anti-queer when it comes to schools and middle schools?
Yes.
Where do you get that from?
By banning books like this. I mean, I know what the content matter of this is. If it was a boy and a girl, there would be nothing wrong with it.
So with that kind of brief synopsis, do you have an idea of why this book might be banned?
Homosexuality.
Okay, what about you?
Exactly the same. But this is part of life.
Mhm.
There's been homosexuality forever.
Sure. Do you feel as though homosexuality in and of itself is a good enough reason to ban a book for kids or younger, or unacceptable? That should be something that should be represented.
Unacceptable, and if the question comes up, it should be directed to be discussed with the parents.
Okay.
Agree.
Why do you feel like this book in particular was banned?
Because it's LGBT, clearly.
Okay. So you say clearly so you're very confident about that. What makes you so confident?
Well, there's two dudes sleeping in the same bed together.
No, what I meant to say, why are you so confident that it was banned for that reason?
Oh, because I did a fucking book report. Oh, sorry for the language.
No, you're good.
I was in 10th grade. It was like, oh, pull a random book from the library. I pulled a random book from the library. The book from the library was just basically about a teen girl in high school dating a bunch of guys. I'm like, okay, well, if that's okay, I was just thinking about stuff like this. Okay, so if that's fine, then why is this fine? Like,
So specifically for middle school and younger, so that's like around 12 years or younger.
okay, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, for 12 years or younger.
Oh, okay.
This is a young. This is a classified as a. I got it from this local library here.
Yeah.
It's young for young adults. So with that context, again, do you still feel as strongly as to why you think it was banned?
I don't really see anything explicit. From what I could tell in this, they're just. I mean, you see hearts and some snuggling.
Mhm.
I'm sure young kids in middle school see their parents do stuff like this, so I'm not getting rubbed the wrong way.
All right, so we're
We're
moving.
talking about romantic stuff that I'm going to obviously assume there's some stuff that some people just don't want their kids to see.
Right. So what I was going to show you is this particular scene here. But what I want to do now is the other side of the aisle says that they have a contention with this scene in particular. I'm going to read you just a paragraph as an insert. I could disintegrate forever. So I could disintegrate forever when we're finally undressed completely and he just stops and stares like he's trying to memorize every second of this. When we're moving, he keeps saying my name over and over until I find it too ridiculous and I tell him to shut up, but he just grins and keeps on saying it anyways, whispering it against my skin just to make me laugh. Just to make me laugh. I hold him so tight against me as if that'll keep us here and keep me here with him. And then there's a little illustration here. It goes on to describe a sex scene, and before they were talking about reaching for condoms. So with this content, you feel free if you want to look at the page or before and after. With this context, do you feel like the book is banned specifically for the LGBT representation or for just the mature content in and of itself?
Mature content.
Okay, what about you?
Agree. And probably you would, as a parent,
Right.
you would read it and maybe wait till your child is older to understand it.
You think it's for the material specifically like that?
I mean,
or do you think it's because of the queerness?
You could find things 100 times as obscene depicting straight couples allowed in school libraries.
It's like these men and women who think they're mightier than thou, and gives you the right.
Sure.
Gives you the right.
Mhm.
And it's a form of segregation and intimidation, and it's a form of racism and anything else you want to call it.
So you banning, so you would
Intolerance.
think that, so just to be clear, because I don't want to go to context, you think
No.
that the banning of books is a form of segregation and racism?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Well, now it seems a little bit more sexually coded, so I guess I see why. I would.
You're welcome to look through the pages if you want to.
Okay.
But so the reason I bring this up, this book is particularly have controversy on it because there have been teachers and school administrators throughout the country that have placed this book into either the school libraries. Again, this is for like middle school and younger, so like at most 14 or younger. where they're just in there and they don't tell the parents about it. And so the parents will say that we're upset because of not every single, I'm not going to say every single one, every single teacher, but the main general thing is that parents are saying that we don't appreciate this type of content. And there are LGBT activists that say, well, no, you're disguising that for your hate for queer people. So do you think either side of the gate is valid? Do you think they're both invalid or both valid? What do you think?
Okay, so actually don't act okay.
Take your time.
I mean, I came in with the impression because I do have a bias
Mhm.
because I do support LGBT stuff, and
Sure.
I do see a lot of this stuff like, oh, Mr. Frog and other Mr. Frog are in a relationship,
Right.
and this is way more explicit than just two Mr. Frogs. You know,
Sure.
it's just like, this is wow. They even took their time.
Wow.
Look, they drew the armpit hair too.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I've shown my audience before we started filming today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like no. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's a little bit much.
Yeah, so I think it's generally due to the queerness of the novel.
Okay. Do you think that if it were the same words, but you just replaced Charlie with maybe like a Charlotte, that it would still be in the schools for middle school?
100%.
And you think that it would be appropriate for them?
I think that could be done on a case-by-case basis. I was reading stuff that was far more vivid than that when I was younger than middle school.
Right.
And I like to think I turned out fine.
If the book is written like this, then yeah, there's probably is stuff for reasons why it wouldn't be banned, but also I think the question is kind of a little bit silly only because we're not talking about these books. We're talking about generalized books that are getting banned. We're talking about books that talk about things like race inequality. Books like those are the ones that I think are the only ones getting banned. This definitely is not. I'm going to assume that this is like what a school system said they be put out, but this isn't like a.
You're ahead of the curve here
What?
today. You literally know the questions I'm about to ask.
Yeah,
So
but-
the follow up to this, with whatever you guys are going to say, was there was a controversy with this book in general, that there was a group of parents, and this is throughout many states in the country, where there were groups of parents that said, we don't want this book in the school, middle school and younger. We don't want this book in the schools because of that specific scene. And then there are LGBT groups that come out and say, well, actually, we don't believe you. We just think you don't want queer representation in the schools. So do you think with both sides that one is more valid than the other? They're both valid or neither are valid? What do you guys think?
It's a situation by situation thing. You know what I mean? Whenever it's anything nuanced like that, I think having any type of thinking radically one way or the other is really bad. Like
Right.
that's very bad. Going over what I just read, like I definitely do not think. I think there are certain age groups that should not be reading this, but also I think that's just as much on the parent and the school system to make those decisions.
So the reason why this book is so controversial is that there have been throughout the country and across different states, there have been middle school and younger teachers that would and administration that would put this book inside the school library, and the parents were not aware of it until someone would check it out and they brought it home and said, hey mom, what is this? Or hey dad, what is this? So on both sides of the aisle, the parents are upset about the parents are upset about they claim to be upset about the mature content in the book. And then there are LGBTQ groups that say, well, we don't really believe you. We think you just want to not allow queer representation in middle schools and younger. So with that being said, do you think either side has a valid point? Neither side has a valid point, a little bit more than the other. What do you guys think?
I would think the mature content.
Right.
That would I would find. Let me read it first. I think that I'm stammering, but I think the mature content.
You're coming across clear, though. I appreciate it. What do you think?
Yes.
Same there?
Yeah.
Think about
But
it.
before you answer that, is this part of a curriculum or is this just part of a library?
It's
Like,
part
is
of a school library that that middle schools could. So in many schools across the state, there are middle schools that had this particular book in the library, and there have been some teachers that would talk about the subject of this book to their classrooms.
But it's not part of the curriculum?
I can't confirm or deny that.
Oh, that's the important thing.
Sure.
I think that's what makes the difference, because I think a library is a library whether it's a school or not. People are going to pick up the books that interest them, and that's the case. And I think school libraries should be the same as every other library. But I think if it's part of a curriculum, then that's when this is more important to be discussed. But as far as a library goes, in my beliefs, anything should be a library. That's what a library is for.
What do you think?
I can understand some parents not wanting their kids exposed to too many sexual themes at a young age.
Do you think you would want to read this book? How do you feel?
Oh, me definitely. I would read that, but yeah, I don't know about in a middle school. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah.
So I guess the natural follow question is: would you want your kids to read this book? So middle school or younger.
Probably not.
So if this book was, say, if you were raising kids, and this was in your middle school library, would you have an issue with that or no?
Actually, yeah, I guess I kind of would. I guess I kind of would have an issue with it. I don't know enough about the book to have that opinion.
I will personally say it's a good read.
It's a good read.
I think it's a good read.
Yeah,
I've read the book, but it's a good read. But this is the main point of contention for parents' rights. And again, the opposite side for LGBT groups is saying that it's trying to shadow ban or just ban in general queer representation in schools.
Inconclusive. I'd probably say, yeah, inconclusive.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't know about the whole book.
All right,
that would be the deciding factor for me.
Would you guys personally be interested in reading this book?
Probably yes.
Probably. I will tell you myself. I have read it myself. It's a nice read. It's an interesting story.
What age group?
This is for young adults, so specifically high school age. Does that concern you? Do you think that's appropriate?
Yes.
All right.
Definitely in the high school.
All right. All right. Cool. So,
yes, definitely a high school.
All right. So what's it called? But the question would then be, if you guys had kids around middle school or younger age, and you learned that their teachers were showing them this book without your knowledge, how would that guys make you feel? The eyebrow.
I might be. I'd probably be concerned, but as far as banning the book, I would have a conversation with the teacher, and I lost my train of thought about the rest.
I'm going to give the teacher a pass.
Okay.
I think he or she is really trying their best to educate. I'm going to give them a pass.
Okay.
And I would like to read the book then with my child.
Sure. So then I guess as a natural follow-up question, do you think that a book like this belongs in middle school libraries?
I would say high school.
High school. Fair enough.
Agree.
Would you read this book? Either of you?
No.
Would you want your kids to read this book if they were interested in it?
Depends how old they were, I think.
Give me an
Depends
age.
why they're interested in it.
All right. Sure. Do you want to follow up on that at all, or?
No, I guess not.
I think that if you're considering banning books from schools, and this is the subject matter that catches your eye, and this is what you think should not be allowed, I think you should reconsider your personal values.
All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to say about banning books, this book in particular, or anything in general?
I feel that parents have really gone overboard with it and are claiming that we're trying to indoctrinate our children into that.
Right.
And I don't think that's correct.
Okay. What do you think is not correct? The indoctrination, or that there is an indoctrination happening?
No, I don't believe that there is an indoctrination.
So you I want to get a context. You believe that there is no indoctrination happening as of now?
Yes.
All right, cool. Just wanted to be sure. Do you agree?
High school, I think they're trying to hide, just like they do everything else. I think it's political.
Right.
And I'm not sure what gives one group of people the right to ban a book, because it may not fit into what they perceive as acceptable.
Sure.
That's your rights are being, swallowed.
Right.
That's what bothers me. And what happened to us? We're okay.
Sure.
It turned out fine.
Yeah.
Reading all these different books
Exactly.
that are now banned.
Right.
And movies, same thing. No. High school, mature content, I can see. High school,
Middle schooler might not understand that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Sun's coming down, guys. We might have to wrap up pretty soon. But hey, if you like what you saw, we're going to have way more about this. We're going to talk about more banned books and way more topics. And hey, listen, if you like the street interviews, please comment and tell me so I know what to focus on going forward. That I also have the political satire, the make me doubts. I'm looking forward to doing all of these things, but I want to focus on what you guys like. Because listen, ain't nobody working as hard as me in this industry.
Yeah,
I-
guys, he carries everything. The only thing I gotta hold is the camera.
all right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I do. I was going to mention about how I post every day, but you know, that's actually fair too. I do carry a lot of stuff. But if you want me to get out of that, like, and have a more crew to carry the stuff around and be more professional about it, please, let's get that subscriber count up. Once we can get to a big enough support, I gotta get enough support. Just make this easy. You don't have to have me walking around like a turtle hermit, or like I'm training for like a Goku fighting scene. But anyways, like I said, ain't nobody working as hard as me. I'll be posting a video every single day, at least 10 minutes. And if you want to see that, just drop a like and hit a subscribe so that you can ring the bell and see every single video as it comes out. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. This is a world of fiction.
Right, yeah, even though you're right, right.